My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina. And boy, I had a time last night. Last night.
After watching Natural Born Killers?
After watching Natural Born Killers, which we did for our Patreon subscribers.
What a ride.
What a ride.
That was.
I needed to get my mood into a different place. And I was like, this isn't a Friday right now. So, had a glass of wine, got butt naked, went into the hot tub. Nice, relaxing. Was like, amazing.
Being naked outside, what a thrilling experience. Honestly, it's the best.
Also, I'm just like, you know what? If my neighbor can see me, good on him. I'm 40. I got a naked body.
You.
I don't give a fuck. I pay my taxes.
I was about to say, I feel like that's the benefit of living in the mountains. Is it's one of those things where it's just like you keep your eyes over there, I keep my eyes over here. It's very libertarian in the mountains.
Yes.
I feel like, it's like,
mind your own damn business.
Right? Yeah, you can't tell me what to do on my own property that I pay taxes for.
That's right. So then I was like, okay, now I'm relaxed. I'm in a good mood. Like, let's lay down in bed. And what we've been watching this week, you guys, is so stupid.
Oh, no.
It's this show called Homicide Hunter.
I've seen it.
Joe Kenda.
Yeah, Joe Kenda is hilarious.
It's so fucking funny. So we just we're high and we're like joking or whatever. We're laying in bed and he says something about how somebody like in the past, he's like, oh, she was much prettier then. And I go, hun,
oh my God,
she's an actress like that. And he's like, yeah, I fucking know it's a reenactment. I didn't think they actually went back in time to shoot B-roll footage for Homicide Hunter with Joe Kenda. And we're just like laughing so hard about that. And I was like, oh my God, have you ever like been in a conversation with someone? I did not mean to imply like you're a fucking idiot, but it kind of was.
I need to explain this to you.
That, honey, it's a reenactment. Like,
I don't know if you could tell.
I don't know if you could tell, but that's not actually young Lieutenant Joe Kenda.
I do feel like I've insulted people on accident.
Yeah.
Like talking down to them on accident.
Yes.
I definitely think I've done that.
But
and then you just make it worse because then you're like falling over yourself to try and explain that you don't think they're an idiot.
But I'm like,
yes.
I totally felt, because I've been joking with him all week because I found a new like astrology site that compares like compatibility and stuff with the birth time. I have to share the site with you guys. It is insanely in detail. But one of the things it said was that like, my sign needs to be careful of not being such a bitch to this sign. So I'm like, man, I gotta stop being such a like bitch. But then here I am in bed being like, oh, honey, it's a reenactment. Oh.
You were stoned in your defense.
Do you really think I thought?
He's like, babe.
My Capricorn moon relates. I completely understand.
It's like, it's an actress.
She's an actress.
But also, I'm sorry,
yeah?
we need to pause because, hold on, did Joe Kenda or Eric say that she was much prettier back then?
Oh, Eric did.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he was making a joke or whatever. He's like, because the person that they got to reenact, the actual real person, looked like nothing.
Right. She
alike.
looked
So
like
then you
the
just
Hollywood
missed the
version.
joke completely.
I thought you
missed the joke.
I thought you had said that Joe
down talk
Kenda.
him.
I thought you had said that Joe Kenda said that she was much prettier back then. And I was like, that is such an insensitive thing to say about a murder victim.
Joe Kenda would never.
He would never know.
Yeah. Dude, that guy's...
But Eric would.
So, yeah. It just made me think, though, of that TikTok, or no, I guess it was a reel that you sent over where it's like, the whole like talking down to get like how sometimes you're... pretending to like things that they like or, not really paying attention.
Does that ever last? Yeah.
No, I don't.
Does it ever last? That's the thing. It's like...
I mean, you can fake it for a really long time. I feel like I've faked it. I've faked liking things or being interested in things for a long time, but it never feels fulfilling in the end. You know, like, and it's okay that you don't like everything that they like. But
Christina
we've all been
pretended
there.
to like somebody watching video games, right?
Oh God, yes. No.
I
The
think
amount
I
of
pretended to like
hours of
watching
my
somebody play
life
video games.
We've all
I've
been there. I
spent.
think most women have been there, where you end up somewhere and you're sitting on the couch watching someone play Grand Theft Auto for fucking 3 hours or some shit.
Tony Hawk Pro
Yeah.
Skater. Yeah, exactly. That's a canon event. I
Yeah,
feel like.
Turismo.
yes, 100. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
The way that we all knew which video game too. We all
Yeah.
had one.
Yep.
maybe
Dude,
maybe
I'm-
that's our fuck, marry, kill today.
I'm old enough to remember. I've definitely watched people play GoldenEye. That's
Oh.
the
Yeah.
Monster Hunter was a big one. Whenever I was out of high school, just out of high school.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. Listen, I mean,
Yeah.
and to each their own. Everyone has their own interests, and I love that. But I am at a place now where I'm just like, cool, you're going to be in here playing whatever you're playing. I'm going to be in the other room reading a book. You know,
Exactly.
I don't need to.
Yeah, or watching
it's
TV or doing
and
whatever
and
else.
it doesn't diminish the quality of our
That's right.
relationship as long
Yep.
as we're both clear on, like, I don't need to like everything you like. You don't need to like everything I like. Let's respect each
Exactly.
other's
Yeah.
interests and differences and like let that be that. But I mean, we've all been there. Like when you are crushing on someone, your brain chemistry is so fucked up that you're just like, you're not behaving rationally. And we have
Right.
all pretended to like a band we don't like or have never heard of.
kite surfing.
That's
You know,
true.
pretended to watch a movie we've never seen.
Wait.
I'm so glad you caught that, Cassie. 'cause
We're not gonna-
I just
We're not
railroaded
going to
right
go
past it.
past that.
Yeah, I had
We're not going to.
I had a
Kite
small
surfing.
crush on a coworker at one time that really, really liked kite surfing.
It's so specific.
It's very specific, but yeah, it was like, oh yeah, no, it's so cool. Like,
You're like,
I
I've
love
spent
it.
so much time kite
Nev-
surfing in my life.
No, have never, but have had very long conversations about kite surfing. So yeah, that is
How
something.
do you how do you sustain a conversation when you really don't know anything about the subject? Is it just like a lot of nodding and a lot of
Yeah, it's a lot
Interesting.
of that, and it's a lot of like, oh, tell me about like your equipment and
Christina, that is so bold to ask about the equipment when you have no like. What if they
About
ask you
your
what
equipment?
if
Like
they
I have
ask
some
you-
little shared notes.
yeah, and I'll be like, oh, that's so cool. That's a good one. Like, oh wow,
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He probably thought he hit the jackpot. He's like, wow, somebody who's just as passionate about kite surfing as me.
Oh man. Speakers.
Yes,
I pretended to like speakers a lot.
Like
Wow.
care about speakers.
I really.
Ooh, I could tell the
and then I
difference.
started knowing all about them. Amps. Oh, is that a 10 you got in the back? Shit. Is that a Fosgate amp?
Lord.
What is wrong with me?
What?
Oh,
Like
man.
speaking a foreign language.
And then you would go downtown, like on High Street in Columbus, and then that's where everybody had like their cars on like hydraulics. So then like you know, everybody like their bass and like their cars. Just it was a fun environment. It was cool to be around that. Like, and I love hip hop music, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not like loud bass hip hop music into it. But I did not care that much about speakers. But boy, could I talk the talk.
wow,
Yep.
speaker talk.
Wow.
Talk.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's always fascinating to me the things that people get really, really into and obsessed with. Like there are whole online worlds, I'm sure, about kite surfing and speaker talk. I'm certain, and I love that. I love that we're all our own unique creatures. That is wonderful. And I love participating. And if something brings a friend or a partner joy, I am genuinely interested in that. And like,
Right.
I want, like, thank you for inviting me into your world, but also do not expect me to be as into it as you are.
Also, yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
lie and say that,
Yeah.
oh, I'm into this too. You can be like, oh, you're interested in this. I don't know that much about it. Tell me about it.
Tell me about exactly.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
Exactly.
It's fun when people have a passion or an interest or something.
Yes.
But I think it is a very like young adult thing to think that oh, I have to be into this too, or they won't like me. We have to like all the same things.
You know, I think we also, as a society, and maybe we're moving in this direction, I hope so, but like need to get comfortable with not knowing things.
Yeah.
Like, I just think we need to get comfortable with not knowing everything. Like, I think that's actually so much more appealing. There is this like knee-jerk response, like when people ask you about things, to pretend like you know about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just admit that like, oh, I'm actually not familiar with that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. That's good. That's actually way more appealing to me, you know.
And or admitting when you're wrong, which I've said multiple times.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just being like, you know what? I think I missed the mark on that one. I guess I didn't realize that you were making a joke there. And that you didn't realize that was an actor.
Exactly. It's like reenactment. Oh my God. So we're talking about, he's like, how much of the budget do you think that they spent on the time machine?
Accidental condescension, man. Like, I've been there.
So good. Oh, but Christina, Eric burns you every fucking time.
I know.
He gets your ass. This is what's so funny about your relationship is you may do that to him, but he gets your ass so many times. It's your fucking engagement. Your engagement is prime.
I know.
Fucking prime. Got you.
He is. He is. It's
funny.
That's what I love about our back and forth is that, you know, he doesn't let me get away with my bullshit.
Well, you're good with a Pisces in that way too. That also like he doesn't take things too seriously either.
True.
Like you know, where it's just like he will allow things to roll off his back and kind of just like go with the flow and like laugh at you and move on.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
Whereas like some people get very in their feelings when they feel like, you know, like they'll get defensive instead of just laughing about it.
You cannot date a Capricorn sun, Virgo. Fucking
Gemini rising,
moon, Gemini rising, eldest daughter, and not expect to get some fucking sass from time to time.
True.
Like
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. I fully expect it.
Well, that actually made me think. So we did a fuck, marry, kill with, I think we took it all the way up to Cancer. So we did Cancer, we did Taurus, and we did whatever with the other one. But we haven't moved
Aries.
past that.
Wow. Whatever the other one was.
Oh, Aries.
Aries.
Right, you're right,
Wow.
you're right. No, but because we want to try and incorporate all of the zodiacs because I feel like we do talk about our signs quite often. So we are now in Leo season.
Yep.
So why don't we do the next three? Let's do pick a Leo, pick a Virgo, and pick a Libra. Are those the next ones?
I thought we would all just pick a Leo.
A Leo.
Last time we did 3, but we could all just pick a Leo and then next month do all Virgos.
Exactly.
Okay, let's all pick a Leo. Then. All right.
Wow. Both J-Lo and Ben Affleck are Leos?
Yes, double Leos. Yeah. It's
Yikes
a lot.
On bites.
Okay. Ooh, Barack Obama's a Leo. Okay.
Dude, I saw him. Did you see the clip of him like rocking up to the basketball game, like courtside? I was like,
man's fine. Still fine.
So hot.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
Wow, man. Leos are attractive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Often celebrities.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they love that spotlight.
Charlize.
Love it.
Maya Rudolph. That's who I'm choosing. We're going to see a lot more of her too. She's already committed to play Kamala.
I love it.
This season for SNL.
I hope they got Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Yes.
Oh, it's perfection. Like literally, it is perfect. I can't wait.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna go Sandy Bullock.
Nice.
Man.
Yeah.
This is tougher than
There's
I thought it would be.
There's a lot of options, which makes it kind of hard.
Because I really want to choose Charlize, but have we done Charlize?
I think it's been a minute. I think we have done her, but I think it's been a while. So,
all right, I'm choosing Charlize.
Okay, Charlize, Sandy, and Maya Rudolph.
This is going to be a very difficult
epic
Yes.
choice. These are 3 incredibly talented, beautiful, amazing women.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is hard. Oh no.
I know.
Oh no.
Okay, we have to fuck, marry, friend.
Friend,
this one
friend.
for sure.
Obviously. So wait, it's Charlize,
Maya, and Sandra Bullock.
Dude.
Oh, I already know what I'm going to do.
Okay, you go first. You go.
I know what I'm going to do. All right. I'm marrying Maya Rudolph. I just feel like she's got that, like, she's funny, but she can be serious.
She played Beyonce doing the hot ones.
Yeah. One of my favorites. Oh my gosh, she's so funny.
Hilarious.
This is like water pouring down.
She is so funny.
It's so good.
And also, if you're married to her, you get to be friends with all her friends.
Oh, yeah.
Which
she's got funny
Amy Poehler's
friends.
coming over all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine. Great. I love this for us. I'm 100% marrying Maya Rudolph. And then I'm going to fuck Charlize. Hello.
Gorge.
Her legs are as tall as my whole body. Like, forget about it.
You know, I've never been
I'm gonna
into that
friend Sandy.
like strong, you know, because I used to watch all those like my whatever on TLC, and I saw one during my formative years that was about like men who like strong women, like those women who just like wrap their legs around their neck or whatever. And in general, not my thing, but I think I'd try it with Charlize. I'm like, just crush me with your thighs, you know? Yeah. You know, I think I'd give it a go. She seems strong.
Yeah.
I've seen those clips of Atomic Blonde.
Dude. Oof.
You know?
That movie
and
is
also,
so fucking good.
She is also really funny. She has a great sense of humor.
And so does Sandra Bullock. Yeah. They've all got really good senses of humor. Ooh, this is
Sandy's
tough.
would be an amazing friend.
Yes. But you know what? I feel like they'd all be good friends.
Yeah.
They'd all be good friends. And that's what makes this a little bit difficult. Do you know what you're going to do, Christina, or not yet? I'm stuck between two. I'm trying to decide.
You know what? I truly think I'm going to do the same thing as you, Cassie. I really do. I feel like Maya Rudolph and I would have an incredible marriage.
Yeah.
Just like a strong partnership. And then, Charlize Theron is, I mean, she's like a
smoke
goddess. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm just like, there's something about Sandra Bullock where I'm like, do I want to live that practical magic lifestyle where I'm like, I feel like she has her own tea blend.
Oh,
you know?
God. Yeah.
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 Very
See, this is where I'm at.
textiles.
I'm which I love a textile. You know this about me. I love a good tea garden. I'm stuck between wanting to marry Maya Rudolph. I'm going to fuck Charlize. Let's just get that out of the way. Obviously. But I'm trying to decide if I want to marry Sandy or Maya. I think both are good futures. Good, solid.
Yeah.
I feel like Sandy's going to be nicer than Maya. And I'm looking out for your Pisces
that's
heart.
nice of you. Thank you for that.
You're right.
All right.
You're right.
And okay, perfect. I'm going to marry Sandra Bullock. I do feel like she doesn't take herself too seriously, but she seems really, really fun. She does seem really supportive.
Yes.
She seems like she likes to travel and stuff, and she likes to be active. I'm going to marry Sandra Bullock. This feels good. And I am actually very, very stoked to be friends with Maya Rudolph.
Like besties with Maya Rudolph?
Yeah, I think, and her being a little bit sharp with my friends, I kind of like that. Because she's going to keep me on my toes. Yeah. But she's going to be, she's going to tell me like it is and not be too mean about it, but sharp enough for like what I need to hear. I appreciate that. Yeah, okay, great. I'm happy with my choices.
Yeah. Good. I'm actually sad this isn't going to come to pass.
I know. Who gets to go first with Charlize?
Well, if you go first, then you'll be dead. So
no. Well, listen, I didn't say I wanted her to kill me. Maybe just we'll play the pass out game or whatever. Like people played in elementary school.
I cannot believe that was a thing back then. We had to have a school assembly about it.
Yep.
That's so funny. Boredom really, so much comes from being bored. I feel like we're losing that in our current society. No one's bored anymore. We don't learn how to be.
Dude, I saw a clip the other day of teachers are having to now like use the TikTok method to get people to pay attention in class.
What's that mean?
Meaning they have their notes, they're like what they're trying to teach on one side, and on the other side they're showing like a Sonic the Hedgehog video game.
Oh no!
Whatever to keep their attention.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
How
like
fucked
that.
up is that?
No, that's
Wild.
That's dystopian. I hate it. What's the future? I really do wonder.
Unless it works. If it works, if that's something that like tricks the mind into like memorizing things.
I'm sure that it does work. I mean, I'm sure it works because our attention spans are all fucked up. Because I've seen those videos where it's just like on this side, we're going to show carpentry while we tell this Reddit story or whatever. And
exactly.
I get why they do it, but they're doing that because our attention spans are so short. And what does that mean, like long term for us? I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. We all listened to metal music and did not turn into serial killers, though.
That's
so I
true.
Think that,
yeah. Play violent video games, and for the most part, most people are okay. So, yeah.
Well, you guys want to take 5, and then we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
That sounds good.
And we're back. All right, Cass, kick us off with stories.
Okie dokie. I got this one off Reddit, and it says, "Hey everyone, I'm usually a pretty private person, but after this experience, I feel like I need to share. I am a 20 female, and I've been using Bumble on and off for a while. I've had a few good dates, some awkward ones, but nothing that really scared me until this happened.
Uh-oh.
A few weeks ago, I matched with a guy who seemed pretty cool at first. Let's call him Mark. He was 24, good looking, had a stable job, and we seemed to have a lot in common based on our chats. After talking for a few days, he asked me if I wanted to meet him up for some coffee. I'm usually careful about meeting people in public places, so I agreed. We meet at a cute little cafe in town. First half hour was totally fine. He was charming, we laughed a lot, and I was actually thinking this could go somewhere. But then things started to feel off. Mark started asking me really personal questions, like about my family's financial situation and what my exact...
I was expecting it to be sexual.
Yeah, me too. And then I was also like, it's one thing if it's like, it's incredibly personal to ask someone else about their personal finances, but like your family?
Yeah.
Like
how much money, what does your dad invest in? How much money does he have in the bank?
It's so weird,
what?
Right?
What's the 401k pension situation?
Yeah. Are they retired yet? What are they doing with that money? And what my exact schedule was like during the week. I tried to steer the conversation back to lighter topics, but he kept bringing it back to weird, intrusive questions. At one point, he casually mentioned that he had, quote, done some research on me before our date.
Pardon?
When I asked what he meant, yeah, exactly. When I asked what he meant, he told me he found my Instagram and went through all my photos, liked some old photos, and even found my LinkedIn profile. He then started reciting details about my life that I never shared with him.
I need to time out.
High school,
I need to time out because
the fact that I have a younger brother.
We have all done the reconnaissance,
yes.
right? Like none of us are above it. We've all Googled somebody and found their Instagram,
and then very carefully
scrolled through, right, to avoid the double tap. That information should be waterboarded out of you. You should not offer that freely on a date that I've cyber stalked you.
Yeah.
You know,
and
it's weird.
You're coming out so bold chested about it and being like,
did you take fucking notes?
I found this about
that you remember where I went to high school? That's weird.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And that I have a younger brother. It's like just stuff that I'm like,
invasive.
That's fucking weird.
Right.
Yeah.
And again,
and
like
not that
we've
I
all
probably wouldn't have
done
told you.
it, but like to do it to this degree and then to bring it up, like it doesn't put someone at ease
creepy
to know that somebody else knows that much stuff about them that they haven't shared.
Also, I will say I find it more understandable that a woman would do it for the guy because it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
You're looking to see if there's any weird red flags that make it unsafe for you to go and meet this person in public. Right. For a guy to do it feels different.
It feels malicious.
Right? It feels
somehow,
the opposite.
Right? Yeah, like it
feels invasive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe it's not, like maybe it was meant to be harmless, but it feels invasive. You're right. Like it feels like what are you looking for and why? And then why are you like relating it all back to me.
Creepy.
It feels like a threat in some way.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yes.
threatening. You're absolutely
Yes.
right. I was super freaked out at this point. I tried to play it cool, but inside I was panicking. I decided to cut the date short and made up an excuse about needing to get home. He seemed a little disappointed, but he didn't push back. But the story doesn't end there. Over the next few days, Mark started texting me constantly. Even when I wasn't responding, he would send messages like, I know you're home. Why aren't you answering?
No.
And I drove by your place and saw your lights were on, so I know you're awake.
Dude, like, here's the other part. If this person doesn't realize that this is creepy behavior, that's a problem. Like, do you not?
Yeah.
Like, either it's one of two things. Like, either you know you're being creepy and you're doing it to be threatening, or you don't know you're being creepy, and that is scary.
Yeah,
Like,
both of those
also
options
scary.
are terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I hate it. Mm-hmm. I never told him where I lived, so I had no idea how he figured that out.
Oh.
I completely blocked him on everything, Bumble, my phone, social media, but I still feel like he's out there watching. I know online dating can be risky, but this was way beyond anything I ever expected. I'm still shaken up about it, and I haven't been on Bumble since. I'm sharing this here as a reminder to be super careful about what you share with people online and to trust your instincts if something feels off. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but how is she even supposed to know? Like she said, the first half of the date felt good. You know, it's just like you don't
Felt
always
normal,
know.
right.
You know,
That's
terrifying.
Your nightmare. You don't
yes.
like
I don't like an obsessive personality at all. Okay, I will go next. I do want to give a trigger warning for transphobia.
Oh.
Here? Okay. Here's my worst first date experience. I met a guy on a dating app and exchanged a few flirty messages. We decided to meet up at a beer bar. A few minutes in, he said he wanted a hair transplant, but that women tell him he shouldn't because it would only make him 5% hotter, and he already, quote, gets bitches.
Oh.
So there's no real problem.
Wow. Okay, Elon.
Alrighty.
Okay, Elon.
Like, again,
Okay.
the lack of self-awareness to be speaking to a woman, specifically a woman you've never met before, a few minutes into a first date with a woman, and to use the word bitches to refer to other
Bitches?
women.
That ain't
No.
it.
Yeah, I've got $5 that Trump slips up and calls
Kamala a bitch.
Yeah, I got a $5 bet going.
Oh,
that
my
happens
God.
before the election.
Wow.
So
You know,
because he
you're
says
probably
it
right.
so often, he calls her that in private, supposedly, allegedly,
Oh, probably.
according to sources. That I bet you anything it slips out.
Wow. I you know, I take that bet.
Yeah.
He then compared his hair transplant. He then compared it to breast implants, which he said makes women wildly hotter. He then told me I didn't need breast implants and correctly guessed my bra size.
Oh. Wow.
Wow, a special gift.
It's like, 32C? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Are you magic? Right. It's my gift.
You can take that show on the road.
It's like a carnival barker. Guess your bra size.
Ugh, can you imagine if you were at like the state
No.
fair?
With a carnival worker guessing your bra size? Oh,
I wonder if they still do that thing at the carnival where they guess your weight. That feels like a very
Your
90s,
age.
2000s thing to do.
Or your age. Like you could choose.
It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if they do that anymore. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's...
What a time.
Yeah, what a time.
I don't know. I'm going to a carnival tomorrow. I'll tell you if it happens here at least.
Well,
It did not happen at Fiesta Days. I will say that.
That's good.
Oh, good.
Good.
You
at
and
one-
Eric should set up a booth.
You should guess weight.
Oh my
That's horrible. I can't believe we ever did that. Bra size. It's funny. At one point, I asked about controversial opinions, like enjoying pineapple on pizza. And he told me trans kids don't belong in sports and went on a bit of a rant.
Wait, how is that?
What?
You're like, whoa,
There.
whoa.
How do we?
That wasn't what I meant. That wasn't what I meant. He told me he didn't like the college he went to, a prestigious university, because it was, quote, full of nerds.
Okay.
Full of nerds.
Okay.
This guy sounds like the worst.
Stupid college full of nerds.
I then said I was a nerd, and he said he does like some nerds because he has lots of Asian friends from college.
Whoa, good
Wow.
Lord. This guy's full of
Horrible.
opinions.
Horrible.
He's got all of them.
Was this
I should have given a
Was this
content
Trump?
warning for racism as well, but yeah.
Oh my God.
He also told me he hates dating apps and wants to, quote, outsource all the talking parts to India.
Wow.
So he's going to love when AI takes over. He's going to love it.
Yeah. Oh
Wow.
my goodness. Literally every opinion this guy has.
It's the worst.
Is like
It's the worst opinion. Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah. At one
Yikes.
point, when talking about karaoke songs, he said he can't sing the high notes in Bohemian Rhapsody because he doesn't have small balls. Check out the big balls on Brad.
Wow.
He then
Also, sorry, anyone that picks Bohemian Rhapsody as their karaoke song, you're a monster. You're
are
an actual fucking
That-
monster.
You have
That
to
or
be-
Stairway to Heaven. It's like,
Oh,
don't
Stairway to
pick a
Heaven.
fucking 7-8 minute song for karaoke. It's not
American
the You
Pie.
Show. Oh God, yes.
Freebird. We could go on. He then gave me a history lesson
Stairway to
on
Heaven.
young boys being castrated in ancient times to keep their high voices.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
A few other miscellaneous things. He used the R slur, misgendered trans people, judged his mom for being a stay-at-home mom. And look, if you disrespect your mother on our
Oh my
first
God.
date, bro.
We're done.
And kept trying
Done.
to take my hand while saying all these wonderfully romantic comments.
Skin crawling. Yikes.
Oh, and about 30 minutes in, he asked me to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how the date was going.
-3, bro.
I dodged the question, and he started getting more and more combative, even though I was intensely polite and kept accusing me of getting mad at things he was saying when he was the one getting worked up. Projection. Let's just say there wasn't a second date. Also, shout out to the bartender who overheard everything and kept coming over to check on us. As I was leaving at the same time as this dude, though not with him, obviously, I looked back at the bartender and made a face, and he mouthed, "Are you okay?" That's allyship.
Yes. Yes.
You okay? Do you need help?
Oh, my God.
God, man. Oh. And all those conversations, like, do people not know, like, appropriate first date small talk?
No, they don't.
No.
They do not.
No. It is
the
clear
answer.
from the two that we've just told that they do not.
They don't.
Oh, well, wait. 'Cause
Clueless.
I've got a doozy, and it's so fun. Like,
great.
our dates really lined up this week. So,
wow.
here we go. He had told me prior to the date he was a widower. Once I arrived at the restaurant, he told me he was saving me a parking spot by standing in it. I asked him not to, as I think it's a jerk
don't.
move, and told him I'd already parked. Who wants to start a date pissing off other people who are trying to park? And yes, he said someone yelled at him while he did it, so he wanted me to make it worthwhile by changing my spot.
I didn't ask you to do
Oh,
that.
my God.
I didn't ask you to do that.
As soon
So awkward.
It's so bad. As soon as we were seated, he said, "Well, let me show you some recent vacation pics."
No.
And then spent 10 minutes explaining all of his vacation pictures to me.
This is a first date?
Oh.
No.
They were all him alone in the wilderness in different spots
God.
with the same dead-eyed stare.
Oh, no. Just selfies.
Just selfies.
Selfies in
so
the
it's
woods.
not even something interesting.
No.
Like, you know.
This is me next to this
Oh,
tree.
no.
This is, oh my God.
Oh,
Then I
wow.
mentioned my divorce, and he made this big production of how I must be so frustrated that he hadn't told me how his wife died. I said, no,
Nope.
that's fine for now.
Yep.
Then he says, In case you don't believe me, and shoves his phone in my face.
No.
He was
No.
showing
Why
me
wouldn't I believe you?
his wife's death certificate.
Why wouldn't I believe you?
What?
In case I don't believe what? That it was a suicide.
Check, please. Going home.
I gotta go.
Thou dost protest too much, and I'm concerned. Okay.
I'm calling Joe Kenda.
Yes. Beep, beep, beep.
Boop, boop, boop. And I wonder who would play me in the reenactment.
Oh my God.
No, he didn't say that.
No. Why would I doubt it? Had there been some questions about his involvement? Why did he have his wife's death certificate at the ready like
Are
that?
men okay?
Fuck.
What is happening? That is so weird. Like, why don't you know how to act with other humans?
Yeah. Here's pictures.
Oh, no.
Like we literally just sat down. We're just meeting. Oh, here's selfies in the woods of me. Oh, and my wife's death certificate. It was suicide.
I have it favorited in my pictures on my phone so I can, for quick access for situations such as these.
Oh, God.
No.
I changed the subject, realizing there's no way I'd go out with him again, but he seems very intense, so I was wary of upsetting him. He held up a plastic trash bag that was stuffed with plates of food, cake, cobbler, and pie. My neighbor brought me some food, so I thought I'd share it with you.
Okay.
They're in a fucking restaurant.
No. You guys,
I'm
how
not
long
eating
ago did his wife
anything.
die?
Yeah, I'm not eating
This
anything you're
feels
giving
so
me.
soon.
Yeah, right.
after.
Because it's just like, why are your neighbors making you cobbler?
Yes.
Like
Oh my God.
Was this last week?
Exactly. At
You
this
guys.
point, I know there is no way I dare to eat whatever he brought. He does not seem
No.
stable. It was awkward to be at a restaurant with a massive trash bag of desserts
a
next to me.
trash bag.
Oh, yeah.
As I'm trying to wrap up our Olive Garden date.
Amazing.
That's what this story was
Amazing.
missing. Unlimited breadsticks.
When you're here,
Oh
your
God.
family.
Amazing.
I want to listen. I have to say, I have a friend like Bonnie. You guys know Bonnie, who used to work at Olive Garden, and she still has a bunch of friends from her Olive Garden days. I bet you she has seen some shit.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
bet you some stuff
Yeah.
rolls through Olive Garden, and I want to know.
Pun intended.
Oh my God. As I'm trying to wrap up our Olive Garden date, he started planning our next date. He wanted to cook for me at his place.
0% chance I'm coming to your house. 0%. No way.
I said, "Oh, I wouldn't be comfortable going to your house on a second date. I'm sorry." He says unprompted, "Oh, don't worry about it. If I get too excited, I know to be a gentleman and go in the bathroom and handle it myself so we can go on with it our evening."
No. I'm sorry. Even if you were on a date with somebody who does that,
Do you think somebody's just been married too long? He don't know how to people no more?
I don't think
know.
so. Cassie, you've been married for damn near 20 years. Like, you know that
I could
that's
go on
not
a date.
I could.
Yeah.
You know how to act with strangers. Come on, man.
I do. I do.
to
I
straight
wonder
up
if Chris would know. Should I ask
own
him?
up to the fact that it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go beat off in the bathroom.
Go rub one out real quick. Yeah.
Ew,
The
God.
waitress quickly brought our check over, probably because he hadn't said this quietly.
Oh my God.
I made it to my car, and that was that. Yes, I do think he killed his wife.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I do too.
100%.
I don't even. I agree.
I didn't before you showed
I didn't. I didn't
certificate.
at all. Exactly. Yeah. Until thou doth protest too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google
Exactly.
him and see if he got
I'm calling
arrested
Lester
for that.
Holt.
Yeah.
Hey, you got a Dateline in the works
exactly.
on this one?
Have you looked into this? Did you see this one?
I want to know more. I want to know everything. I want to
Wow.
know this guy's name. I want to know his wife's name. I
Yeah,
want to
and
know more.
I'm with you, Cassie. If he why would your neighbors bake enough baked goods to fill a trash bag unless your wife died literally like less than a month ago?
Within the month.
Right.
Within the month.
Yeah. So I'm just
That
like,
is-
he could have been investigated. It takes a while to get those investigations going. So who knows where he ended up.
It does.
Terrifying.
In case you think it wasn't suicide. Oh, whoa.
Well, yeah. I didn't have
any opinions.
I don't.
Until
I don't think it is.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to see you on that show, accident, murder, suicide, question mark.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, it is wild to bring a hefty bag full of various desserts to a fucking Olive Garden.
It's weird.
You're getting out of your car. He's standing in the parking spot, holding it.
Trash bag.
Holding a trash bag of desserts.
Also, if there's any concern that maybe you've killed your wife, just standing with stay away from trash bags full of things, period.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Just
it evokes an image.
board.
Yeah.
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 That's a lot. Wow. People behaving badly.
That was,
Yeah.
that is,
First date
I don't know
etiquette.
what to do with that.
We really should
could
actually write a book.
We could.
Be like, don't pull up your wife's
you might think this is obvious. You might think this is obvious. However, you'd be surprised.
Exactly.
You'd be surprised.
It's like, it will start easy, like with the don't do this, don't do that. But truthfully, there's some stuff you feel like you wouldn't have to say. But after 6 fucking years of this podcast, good Lord, I feel like this is a book that society needs.
Clearly.
Really. They're clamoring
clearly
for
does. The problem is, if we clear this up with everyone, we no longer have a podcast.
Well, yeah, we'd have to transition to something else. I feel like
people can't help themselves. I think we'll be okay.
That's true.
There's always going to be people behaving completely out of pocket. I assure you.
Yes,
absolutely.
Oh my God. You guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Yes.
And we're back, and it's my turn to tell the Tainted Love.
You were just so like hesitant.
I was, because I almost said, "Hey everyone."
I'm like, oh God, no.
If you're just joining us halfway through.
Jesus. Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I'm here, and we're back. I'm going to tell you guys the story of Renella and her husband, Peter Bergna. This story I actually heard this week on 48 Hours, and it was a 48 Hours rewind. And I don't normally do this, but I listened to the story and I was like, is this for fucking real? Like, I don't know. I just thought the story was kind of bonkers, and I was like, so it took place in 1998. And here's the thing that I'll say. I always go into, especially these older stories, thinking, giving benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, because I feel like they always are like, it's this way and it's going to be this way. And, I feel like they railroad the story a little bit sometimes in those older episodes. Mm-hmm. So with those, I always go in like, we'll see. I'm very sus. Mm-hmm. So Renella and had met Peter Bergna when she was 38 years old. They got married. Well, they got married at 38 years old. She was the oldest, I think, of 4 kids, and she is just, when they're like, oh, she was the apple of everyone's eye. She was just blah 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 blah, mm-hmm. And they're like, how people describe people.
Yeah, birds sang to her, and yeah,
exactly. When they were showing pictures of her, like, she was always just had this like kind of infectious smile. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like, you see pictures of her and you're just like, oh my God, she could be your aunt. Like, you just want to like hug her. She grew up in a really like Italian family. So they were really, really family oriented. She grew up as a big traveler. She loved traveling. She loved to do, all kinds of stuff. She was really just a vivacious, full of life woman. And she really, she'd never been married before 38. So she was doing her own thing. She went to college. She graduated in pharmacy school. So she was a pharmacist for many years, making really good money, settled. They were from California, kind of in the country, like in the farming area.
So like the middle?
California.
Like Central Valley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like a smaller town, farm. They had a farm, a ranch, basically. And, this is small town California is where she grew up. And she, when she graduated and got her career, she moved up to Tahoe, bought herself a new house. She was doing her thing,
beautiful, living
her
in
life.
Tahoe. Wow, that's a dream.
Living in Tahoe, in a really quite nice area.
Owning property.
Bought a home.
In Tahoe. Yeah.
God damn.
Yes. Yeah. In the Sierras, in a beautiful, beautiful area.
Wow.
So she's, and living her life and having a great time. And really, I guess, probably for her, the only thing, and I don't even know if she would have said it was missing at 38. I think she was happy and enjoying her life, loved her job, loved her family, loved her, loved, her life. But one of her friends introduced her to a guy that lived in town, Peter Bergna. He was also businessman, had his own thing going, was also very successful, was running his own business. He did art appraisals or antiques appraisals. So he had his own thing going, and they ended up falling in love. The family was really happy for her. Again, never been married. So getting married at 38, everybody was just thrilled to pieces for her. This is just, kind of signed, sealed, delivered,
Right.
a happy
for the woman
ending,
who has everything. Now you also have the relationship piece of it.
A partner to share your life with. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is really who, Peter was for her. He would, they traveled together. They just loved life and totally enjoyed living their lives. And, Renette was starting to get to a point where she was like, I'm happy. I've done all these things. I've been very successful, but it's in my heart. My passion is travel. And I want to kind of change careers. And so, for the most part, Peter seemed really supportive of this. She wanted to become an international travel consultant or a travel guide. And so she would take trips with people and she would take them around in different areas.
What a great job.
It was what an amazing job. Yeah, but it definitely wasn't the big money 6-figure job in the early 90s that working in pharmaceuticals can be, right? So, a pharmacist, you're going to make, you make pretty good money.
Right.
And she was doing really, really well for herself. And so, that's a big change to say,
sure,
just up one day, be like, you know what? I don't really love my job anymore, this big money paying job anymore. I want to do something that pays almost nothing, but have fun. So it can be a shock to the system for people, and I think sometimes you marry someone seeing them in one way and then they change into somebody.
It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
So what did he do? Do we know?
He's the art.
Oh, sorry.
Appraisal.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
But here's the other thing too.
Yeah,
as somebody that did make a career change, a year into Eric and I dating, it's sometimes you're doing one thing because it's obviously she was making a lot of money. She was able to support herself and her lifestyle by doing this thing that she probably didn't mind that much. But of course, if you had your way, you would be I would love to do this for my living. And then you're not able to really make that jump until you have a supportive partner. Right. But you're right, Cass, in that it is very different. That partner is probably well, I fell in love with this person and now
and it changes
things up.
It changes his responsibility. Right. Because the amount of financial contribution is going to be different. And then also the stress of changing jobs. Even if you're changing jobs into something that you really want to do and love to do, that transition's going to be transitions are hard, period. And learning a new job and getting comfortable with it, and that can bring stress and frustration into a relationship.
Yeah. Well, and it's travel.
Right. So
she's going to be gone. Mm-hmm. She's gone a lot. So she's going to be literally traveling for work. And I know from my own experiences, traveling for work can be very difficult. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of work, everybody's like, oh, it's just fun. there's things about it that are fun, but on the other side of it, it is still work. You're still working.
Well, and maintaining a close relationship is difficult when you're traveling a lot.
That's right.
You just have to be more mindful of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it was after a 6-week trip to Italy.
Ooh,
she
wow.
was coming
and 6
home
weeks
from.
Is a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
And Peter went to pick her up from the airport, and they were going to have a discussion because Peter was no longer in love with the idea of her traveling quite so much as he thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
And so he decides that he wants to have a conversation with her about, what their relationship is going to be. What's their future with her traveling so much? And he decides he's going to drive up to like one of their favorite places on the side of the mountain near the ski resort. And, it's a beautiful lookout. And I'm sure after, 24 hours of travel, she was like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But
no, thank you. Please take me home.
Yeah.
Let me take a bath and go to bed, please.
Yeah, exactly.
The last thing I want to do, I love traveling in that, like, I love being in a new place, but I do not love the act of traveling, whether that's like a road trip or being on a plane for many hours. Like, I don't enjoy that. I need to rest once I'm where I'm going. I don't want to do more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
With him, he had a piece of paper of typed up list of things that he wanted to discuss with her. On top of the list is the title. It has a title, Agreement to Approve Our Marriage is what this paper is titled.
I hate
Improve our marriage?
everything about this right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I will
Number
say,
one.
like, as somebody...
This feels like very earth sign energy to make a list.
Yes. I was just going to say, if you're... I do kind of like approve of like, if you're having issues, and also sometimes people are very like uncomfortable, like being confrontational and stuff,
But
and be like, oh, I need to remember.
You.
Yeah.
Because I can understand making a list, because sometimes, sometimes you just need to get your brain in order. Like, you need to like organize your thoughts.
Yeah.
So I don't begrudge him making a list, but when you do that, like, that is for you to reference. That is not for the other person. That is like for you to get your thoughts together so that you know what you want to say. Right.
And calling it agreement to improve our marriage makes it sound like something she has to sign and get like notarized.
Seriously.
Agreement.
Okay. So, number 1, improve on self-love. Okay.
For
that
her?
Doesn't sound bad.
Or for him?
Just says improve on self-love.
It feels like the nicest way he could think of to say, take care of yourself better. Like her appearance.
It does.
That very much feels
what
like...
What does that mean?
It feels like, oh, you've let yourself go, or kind of thing.
Improve.
Number 2, love the other person.
Were we not?
That'll help improve their marriage, I guess. Number 3, listen to the other person's ideas. It's an insane list. It's very long. Some of them is about common goals, being kind to each other, take control of money and bills, deal with problems as they arise, use common sense when dealing with problems, make love more often is number 11. So it's just like, okay, you guys had some things to talk about.
If somebody typed up a list and said like number 7, use common sense with
baby.
Well,
this feels like an assignment that a couples therapist would give. But if a couples therapist is giving it to you, it's within certain guidelines. Like, he's taking it upon
and there's 2
himself.
lists.
Right. Then you each get to make a list. Yeah, if you're going to do this, let me make my own fucking list and we can compare notes. How about that?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Because otherwise it feels like a directive. Because he's using words like, that's supposed to encompass both of them. Like the other person, do this for the other person. But you're talking to her. You're giving her directives. That's what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
Stop
exactly. Love me more.
Right.
Make love to me more.
Take care of yourself better.
Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. It's all very ick. But he says that at the end of that conversation, she agrees she's actually going to quit that job, and they're going to head home and make love.
Okay.
No
reality.
fucking reality.
No.
If I got out of the fucking airport
after
off a
traveling
long
24 hours
and you had a type list that said all that stuff,
I need the listeners to know that the fingers are flying over here.
There's no fucking reality that that's what happened. I'm sorry.
I want to go home and make love.
After you
don't.
just no,
you don't.
No.
No.
Even if you accepted
woman ever.
it, even if you accepted it and you were like, okay, like I can maybe you went about it the wrong way, but I can understand that you have valid concerns about our relationship that I want to work on. That doesn't turn me on.
No.
That's just one of those things.
No.
Even if I admitted that, like, okay, this is something that I'm willing to consider and work on, I'm not going to be like, you know what, honey? Absolutely. And I can't wait to go fuck your brains out. Stop it.
No.
Stop it.
Get for real.
Be
Be
for
for
what
real right now.
fucking
'Cause you're not
fairy
being for
tale?
real.
Yeah, exactly. You're being.
I want to go home and sleep
So-
because I've been up for fucking 3 days.
I need to see the cop's face that he was telling this story to, because he's got to be. That cop was like,
I hope it
yeah.
was a woman cop.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But the cops were like,
Okay.
Sure. These are cops who've been married, probably.
Yeah, or like,
Yeah. In fact, the cops are also like, so they were like, I got to get to the place where the crime happens. But during the interrogation, when he's telling this fucking insane story, the cops were like, well, actually, there was somebody at the lookout that said they heard your conversation. There wasn't, but they were all like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, that
and
didn't
he
go
was like,
down
"Well,
like
actually,
that.
it was probably a little bit more heated, and you know."
Do you think? Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you, nothing would make me grumpier, not to keep bringing it back to this, but really nothing would make me grumpier than having spent 6 weeks not in my own bed.
yeah.
And then you're going to lay this at my feet?
At a look at like in a part, like take me the fuck home.
Right?
Yeah.
Take
Why do
me
we have
home.
to be here?
Take me home.
Right.
We don't have to be here to do this.
No.
So at any rate, conversations, all good. Everybody's happy, and they're going to drive home, and they're driving down the mountain and just, enjoying the beautiful city lights when as they're coming to a turn, oh no, my brakes won't work. And he's saying he's hitting his brakes and they don't work. And the truck goes careening off the side of the mountain, but not before ejecting him, ? Or the door opening and him falling out, or him being ejected. He doesn't remember. So.
No, I'm sorry.
What in the fucking like burn? That's not how cars work.
That's not how that works.
That's not how cars work.
I can only imagine the cops in that moment. They're like, ejected from the car, you say?
Oh, so the brakes didn't work, so you yeeted yourself out the. No, that's not how this. No.
Okay.
So he calls 911 from the side of the mountain. Oh my God. Oh no, my wife. We had a car accident and I'm on the side of the mountain. I got ejected out of the window and Redneck. He's yelling.
I'm so sorry. This is definitely not funny. But your reenactment is
spot on. I'm sure that's exactly what it sounded
hysterical.
like. You can always tell when they're lying.
Yes.
You can always.
Yes.
People. I feel like people who are narcissistic just automatically think that they're good at everything,
including acting.
And they think that they're like being super clever. And you're just like, anybody who has normal feelings, who knows what normal feelings look like and sound like, can see straight through this.
Truly.
And of course, the 911 operator is like, "Sir, calm down. What's going on? Where are you?" "Oh, I'm on the side of a hill. I fell out of the window, and my wife is still
out of the window. How did you fall out of the window?
The way I could
It was ejected.
never be a 911 operator. So I'd be like, you what?
They don't know. They don't know. And I mean, it sounds like an accident, right? So she's like, I need to know where you're at so I can send police to you. You're calling from a cell phone and we have a signal, but it's not going to give us an exact location. Tell us where you are. And so they're sending out officers, and the officers end up passing each other on one road, and they're like the main road that would head to the area that he said he was at. So they're like 20 minutes out there looking for where this accident is. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, it has to be this other road. They finally find the accident. They pull up to the scene, guardrails, broken open so they can tell this is where the crime scene is. There's a hat sitting on the pavement, and they look down the hill, and about 80 feet down, they see Peter laying with his phone. Oh, and one part of the phone call, he's like, I'm hanging on with one arm. He's like, I can almost not hang on anymore.
I also don't think this is funny. It's so
not
ridiculous.
But it's so that he thought like, what?
So he wasn't even at the top. Like, he's trying to say that, like, as the car careened off the side of the cliff, he somehow miraculously, like, yeets himself.
Right, and holds on to the side of the mountain or something. Is that what he's saying?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
and they see him.
This is some Mission Impossible bullshit right now.
They find him. He's like, I can't move. My back hurts. My legs won't move. And they're like, fuck, who knows? Like, Jesus. So they get him out of there. They take him to the hospital. The only actual injuries that they find on him is his foot. His foot has a little bit of a scratch on the side, and it's pretty swollen. You guys saw that picture when I fell down the stairs. It was like that. It's like all black and bruised. It's a black and blue bruised, and a cut on the side. Not I was yeeted out onto the side of a mountain.
Right. Like on a car. You just slipped on a sidewalk and hurt your ankle like that. If you had been thrown out of like a car, I think the situation would be a little different.
The officer was like, his hair was barely even mussed. Like he had only a little bit of dirt on the back of his pants. The other thing that they were like, that started making them really question everything was he's like, I don't know what happened. I woke up and I thought there'd be a fire. He was like, I was looking for the fire. And they were like, what fire? Turns out he had left 3 open gas cans into the back of his truck.
That's totally normal behavior.
Mm-hmm. He said he picked them up before he got his wife because he was going to use them to fill his gas tank.
Why were they open though? They needed to be open for what?
And also, it really is long time ago.
So, do you think it really does feel very narcissistic because this person thinks everybody around him is stupid? Right?
Yes.
Because
not
it's just like
stupid, like comatose.
Right. Because you're telling on yourself. You are telling on yourself by being like, I thought there'd be a fire.
Why?
Because you did this thing on purpose.
You've watched too many movies
with the expectation that it would blow up.
Right.
Stop.
You were hoping.
And hide evidence. Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's so transparent.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely bonkers. So, but the police still don't really have enough to go on. This is all circumstantial. Like, they have to kind of go by his story. But they, go back to the interviews and they're like, kind of taking a look at like some of the things he's saying, and just stuff isn't adding up. Some of the things that he said, he changes the stories about. So, but again, at this point, there's nothing, they don't really have any hard evidence to go off of, it's not like he confessed. Mm-hmm. So time goes by. Her family, who are fucking lovely, are of course distraught. They're devastated. This is like their sister. So one of the most fucking awful things. First of all, he gets this large sum of money because she was killed because of her life insurance. But because it was an accident, he gets an additional $200 and some thousand. So he's got about $500,000 in life insurance from her. Then she has inheritance because of her family's ranch. She owns a portion of that ranch, and therefore after her death, that portion of the ranch either has to be sold off and the money goes to him, or he's a part owner. He's gonna, be in business with the family.
Wow.
The family is like, the brothers are just like,
nah,
we don't want to go into business with somebody that we're pretty sure was behind this, our sister's death.
But the other option would feel so shitty too, where it's like, now I got to fork over money from my family's like land to this piece of shit.
And so they wait, and they have like a certain amount of time in which they have to have it done by. They have to make a decision, and they're waiting for the police that, they're working with the police. They're pretty sure that police are pretty sure that, but it's a slow fucking process. And even the family was like, we don't blame them. We know it was just a slow process, but they ended up, they're like, we just didn't want to deal with him anymore. So they ended up paying him out $275,000 for her portion of I
hate this. So now he's gotten almost probably $800,000 total from life insurance and the land. Ugh.
But wait, there's more, because he's like, you know what? Actually, brothers, I don't know if that's going to be enough. I actually,
excuse me?
I'm missing out on 11 to 15 more years of work and income from her that I might not get.
Oh my God.
That I'm not going to get.
Can you fucking imagine?
Well, that's not on them to pay. That is not on them to pay. That's not on anybody to pay. No.
And what a fucking weird thing to say anyway. Like, what a weird thing to say when someone that you love has died that you don't get, you're not going to get, however.
He gets her fucking Tahoe house too.
And you're estimating how much longer you expected her to live, by the way, too, which is fucking weird.
And support you with additional money coming in. It's gross to even.
I cannot imagine me dying and somebody saying this shit to my brothers.
Oh,
Can you
awful.
Imagine.
And it's like, what do you expect me to do
Chris
about it?
You
should have bought more fucking life insurance then. Sorry.
I don't know what to tell you.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm going to need about $400,000 more, because it's just not going to compensate what she would have brought.
I don't understand how that works. They didn't pay him that, did they?
No.
Okay, good. I'm like,
how
he has no like, unless I'm just dumb. Like he's got no like legal.
Correct.
No.
Yeah. There's
nothing.
Yeah.
No. So at any rate,
God, that just made me so mad.
Yeah, no, it's infuriating.
Being that fucking bold, like there is something. I know we throw around narcissistic a lot, but that it really does feel like that. Where I'm just like, you are clueless to how like other people behave, and really just think it's all just the what's his name? It's all that guy's show,
Yeah, it's like someone
it's
just
the Peter
definitely
show.
The Peter show,
doesn't understand grief. Yeah,
right. The way normal people grieve,
And the other part too is like, even in the interviews, and like I said, the fake sobbing on the phone call. I mean, it's so
sickening,
obvious to anyone, I think. And then they show him in the interview, and he's like, I wanted the brakes to work, and the brakes wouldn't work. They wouldn't work. I wanted them to work so bad, and they just wouldn't work. So he's saying basically his whole story is the brakes went out. He doesn't know what happened, and that his car just careened off, and that's what happened. And he, by the grace of whatever, like was able to be saved. And
were they able to recover the car and the body?
The vehicle was so absolutely destroyed that the officer was like, I couldn't tell which end was the front end and the back end. And it was a pickup truck.
No.
It was like demolished. It was like flattened. And of course, by the time that they had gotten there, all that extra time that it took them to get there, she was dead by the time they got there. So I don't know that she would have lived regardless, but
I know that it's mostly circumstantial evidence. However, like, let's take a real close look at how he got out of that car, because that would be the thing that I would be focusing on.
So let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
Because they did do this. So they did a bunch of tests. They did like some road tests, like if your car is going 20 miles per hour and you can't brake, like what happens to your car, even if you're not even touching the wheel, the car automatically goes toward the turn. Like even because the way that the road kind of shifts, it actually starts to veer your car toward that direction. The other thing was officers were like, why didn't you just steer your car toward the side that's not the cliff.
Right.
And they basically, but they basically determine, because then you're just going to crash into like the side of a mountain.
Crashing into the side of the mountain, which is preferable to going off the side of a cliff.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you. Off the side of a mountain. So he was like, oh, that's a really good question. That was his answer. I don't know. That's a really good question.
Didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that. Then they were like, well, first of all, there was no way, because the guardrail isn't like right up. There's a little bit of give in that area. Mm-hmm. So he would have literally had to turn his car toward the guardrail to go off the mountain. There was no way for it to not, like, it wouldn't automatically veer that direction on its own. So they're just like, this can't be right. So sus. They start to talk to like friends and like people around. And a few people come forward and they're like, yeah, I work with him through some things, and I, he gives me the creeps. He asked me out over to his house to go into his hot tub, and I came over and he got really sexual with me, and I dodged, and, so this is all before she got back from her trip. So like a lot of like weird sus behavior about how he was like, leading his life without her around. And so, that's like, oh, that's all character,
It's
but
still not proof.
It's still not proof that he killed his wife. So all these things though are like adding up. And one of the things that they started doing, especially with like the testing about like how the car would have careened over, and they remembered that, oh, he had a hat. There was his hat was on the concrete,
side of the
on
road.
the pavement,
yeah.
on the side of the road, which if he had flung out on the side of the mountain, wouldn't have gone all the way back to the side of the road.
Right.
Right. So the other weird thing is they saw that they found video footage of him earlier that evening, right before he went to pick up his wife at the airport, Renette, at the airport. He went to get those gas cans. He was wearing just a light t-shirt. It's the middle of summer. When the accident happens, he's got on gloves. He's got on shirt, 2 jackets, layered jackets, all puffed up in summertime. Weird. And they're like, this is a person who's trying to protect themselves from what they know they're about to do. Mm-hmm. The other weird thing was the only damage he had was on his foot. And so they went back and were looking at his tennis shoes. And one of the officers noticed right away there was this slash in one of the a cut like in his tennis shoe. Mm-hmm. And inside it was like kind of black. And he's like, that looks like pavement to me. And there's no pavement on the side of the hill. There's only pavement above the hill. Where before the car goes over it stops at the guardrail, right? So they have it tested, and it is. So they basically are like, we have enough evidence now that we can take this man to court. And so they do. They're like, 2 years later, it's 2000, I think, now at this point. They finally have enough evidence, and they arrest him, and they take him to court. So court goes, they're telling all their side of the story, all these things, character witnesses, the people who are like, oh yeah, he was flirting with me. It was really awkward. I didn't like it. And then, so all of this stuff, some of it too was like literally like right after she passed away, which also when you were telling that story earlier about the...
Yes. Oh, it was an accident. It was an accident. The brakes stopped working. You're like, yikes! I got to get the fuck out of this Olive Garden.
I'll take my peach cobbler and go. Thank you.
I'm gonna get out of this hot tub. I do love a hot tub, but this isn't worth it.
I love a hot tub, but we all know there is a type of person who, if they ask you over to come get in their hot tub, you're like,
man.
Hot tubs are the best, but they're akin to water beds that way, where it's like if the wrong person owns one, you're like creep city.
You're like, ugh, he's gonna get handsy.
He's gonna get weird.
I'm going to say this, and if I get flack, I get flack. Is there a right person that owns a waterbed?
Not these days.
Lord
Not
Beyonce
these days.
2024?
I don't think so. In the 90s, I think it was split. It was split.
Oh, yeah.
But now, I actually don't know anyone with a waterbed.
I don't know if you even can.
Not one person.
For like a rental,
right?
A lot of times that's in a lease. You can't have one.
Gosh, my grandparents used to have a waterbed.
And I'm like, who the fuck...
I feel like
Oh,
those
God.
have
Now
to
I
be
gotta
bad
think
for
my
your back,
grandparents
right?
fucking.
Hey, how fucking dare you? I didn't say that. All I said was that they had a waterbed. You didn't
What
need
else
to
would you
take
get a
it there.
waterbed for? Why do you get a waterbed?
I don't
So
know.
you're
People
fucking
get
on the
the way
ocean.
they felt.
How can you fuck on a waterbed?
seems
You
like
can't
fucking on a waterbed would
get
be awful.
traction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hold my beer.
Have you fucked on a
waterbed?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm from the 90s.
Oh my god!
Oh boy.
Wow.
Well, right.
It's not the best.
Have you fucked on a
I'm
waterbed?
going to say it. It's not the best. Yes.
I wouldn't think
Everyone
so.
send us your waterbed stories.
I feel like it can't be good. Waterbeds, like, also not good for back support.
Yeah.
You know,
Not good for fucking support either. I'm
not
just going
good
to
for
say it. I
anything.
think Chris
Why,
had a
why were we
waterbed.
so obsessed with waterbeds?
I don't know.
What a
It's
weird
so
time.
stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. So anyway, they go to trial. The jury, 3 days later, they aren't coming up with anything. They're like, we're
Yeah.
not agreeing on this. And so they came back, and it's a split decision. It's a 9-3 decision.
in favor or
Yeah.
against?
In
In favor of conviction or against? In
Yes.
favor. Okay.
in favor of the conviction. So the judge is like, I'm going to give you another day. You go back, rehash, have to think on it.
That's got to
They
be
come
so
back
tricky.
the next day.
How often
Yeah.
does that work? Because you hear that in these stories all the time. Because obviously they don't want to do a retrial, so they're like,
Right.
send them back in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if people are set in does that ever work for people to change their
some
mind?
people are like, I just want to go fucking home.
12 Angry
They've
Men.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, "Ugh, forget it.
Yeah, but that's
Fine,
not-
guilty.
That's not the kind of way you want to make a decision.
It is the way I bet you more often than not, people are like, well, it's whatever. He
Fuck it, I just wanna go
probably
home.
did do it, so I just want to go home.
Well, if everybody else thinks so, I'll
Yeah.
I'll just acquiesce. Okay.
Did not happen on this one. So it went, the judge called mistrial, and they were like, fuck. So we're going to have to do it again. So, and they decide pretty quickly that they're going to retry him because they feel very confident in the case they have. And in this trial, they're going to really just focus on obviously all the details. They have all these points of difference. They have all this stuff. But then they also want to really talk about all these people that he's been trying to go out with, that he dated, that he's asking out, all this stuff that's happening prior to and directly after all this strange behavior as well. And so on the second trial, they do come back with a full guilty verdict, and he is sentenced to prison. And the last I saw, like, he will be 20 years, he'll be eligible for parole. So what's that, 2040?
Oh, wow.
2000 years. Oh, 2020. He would have been eligible, I think, for parole. Or I guess it depends on when that happened. Anyway, around this time. But he keeps trying to, he's not out of prison, and he keeps trying to overturn the ruling and say that he had like a, trying everything he can to basically say that he didn't do it. Like
Did
I
he
said,
have to pay
I
the
went
money
into
back?
it.
I wonder.
I don't know. Nobody has said anything about it.
I feel like you should have to.
I think that.
Yeah.
I think you should have to too. I think that the only way they could do that is if they went to a, what is it that's
like civil court?
a civil court? Yeah, they would have to do like a civil trial. I'm assuming for him, for them to
I hope that
I
I
would
hope
do
the
it.
family does it.
Yeah,
and
I would do it.
Gets that money back.
I don't think they're
and
going to.
The life insurance company too.
Yeah, the
Oh
life
my
insurance company might
God.
do it regardless, but who knows? I
Yeah.
think it's all, as of now, he's still in prison, and nothing has come of any of his requests So basically at this
What?
point, he's saying, I'd have to be suicidal or schizophrenic to want to do that. And I'm neither. So it can't be true, basically.
To want to do what? To want to kill his wife?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
It's just-
that doesn't make any sense, sir. But
Yeah.
all
I
right.
will say
Yeah.
my theory on this, if you want my 2 cents, my theory on this is that I think he planned to do a murder-suicide. I think he planned to drive them over because there was no brakes. There was no nothing. And then he changed his mind last minute. I think... I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not.
I mean, it takes a lot to throw yourself out of a moving car for sure. Listening to it, I automatically thought that he probably killed her.
I thought so too.
Like that's kind of what I thought.
Killed
too.
her and buckled her in and what have you, and then was able to get the car fast enough and get himself out as it went over.
Because it sounded like he wanted to live a life. It sounds like he wanted her money. He was resentful that she had switched career plans, and also him dating other people makes it seem to me that he was looking forward to a life without her.
I agree.
But who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand. I guess what I don't get is like if he wanted to like fuck around and
she's gone all the time.
She's gone all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but then you don't get the money.
I guess.
So.
I guess he wanted a big payday. Greed.
And the other thing too, I think the other point that the family had brought up in all of this was that she was very Catholic, and there was probably no likelihood that she would ever divorce him.
Agree. Okay. Yeah. Agree.
I think that was also, maybe a question as well. But that's the awful, awful story of the death of Renetta.
Wow.
Rella. Yeah.
I have to say, it sounds weird to say it, but like, I hope that she was dead already.
Yeah. The coroner's
being thrown
report
off the side of a cliff would be so scary. Like what a scary way to die. Like your last, moments.
The coroner's report was unable to verify whether any of the wounds or any of the injuries were over the cliff, or, if they were caused by that or if they was, so.
Terrifying.
Wow. Yeah, no, I had never heard that story. I had a feeling it was going to go somewhere like that when you were talking about, like I picked her up from the airport and took her to this spot that we like to have a conversation. I was like, she accidentally fell down the cliff kind of story. Mm-hmm.
There are so many stories like that. Makes you scared to go hiking.
Yeah. And don't go in the woods with a guy.
Any guy, ever.
None.
Yeah.
Chris, you're not allowed to go hiking with me. But you can't go alone either.
No, without a chaperone. Also true.
Rose would never let that happen.
Well, what are you guys watching this week?
Did I mention that I was watching the Omen movies? I don't know if I mentioned that. Yeah, so I watched the new one, which is the first Omen, which is like a prequel. Mm-hmm. I really liked it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I've said that on this podcast yet, but I really liked it. I thought some of the shots were really beautiful. I don't know. I like religious horror, exorcism stuff, spiritual stuff. So enjoyed that. And then I went back and watched the first one, the original Omen. And now, weirdly, they're all on Disney Plus.
Oh,
so weirdly. So I am planning on watching the rest of them because I haven't seen any of the other ones.
All right.
So I'm intrigued. I'm on an Omen journey.
I have literally nothing exciting that I'm watching right now. I'm still we're on Elementary at night. I just finished up my, history. I just finished up, my classes for summer. I can't even think. I'm so brain dead right now. I watched a really interesting, documentary on one of the artists for my art history class. That was really cool. But it was like an American experience, I think, from like the 90s. I don't know if you could find it.
I love American Experience. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love PBS so much.
Truly.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Yeah, we've been watching Homicide Hunter at night. Just fall asleep.
So reenactments?
I don't know why he yes, exactly. Many reenactments. But we haven't watched anything, I think, interesting. We're done with Game of Thrones kind of thing, and we're trying to decide what we want to marathon next.
Wait, time out.
The entire time.
Are you done with Game of Thrones? Did you finish it, or you're just like, we're fucking done with it? We're not going to watch that last season.
We finished.
Oh, okay.
We finished.
You
and
did
we
it.
actually, the whole time, we were like, man, because we didn't realize, especially like Cersei, like how much she's like constantly drinking wine.
She's drunk
through
the whole
time.
end of the like second half of the show. Yeah.
So we got obsessed with wanting to find goblets to drink wine.
I love that for you guys. Just
do
naked
too.
in your hot tub with a goblet of wine. Love that.
We are
love that.
so fucking weird.
This is what adulthood is like.
Yeah.
We get to do what we want
Yeah.
now these days.
Exactly. Well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, you need to go. Actually,
Yes.
first, before we do that,
Yes.
Keegan has something to
I
ask.
do. If all of you could go and leave us if not a review, because I know sometimes it gets daunting trying to think of what to say in a review. So I won't ask you to do that. But if you haven't already, if you could go and give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, that would be amazing. Or wherever you are listening, if you could go give us a positive review if you enjoy this show. It helps us out so much. So
Even if you don't like the
you've been
show, give
enjoying
us a
listening-
5-star.
Yeah, or take your husband's phone, take your bestie's phone,
Yeah.
go to their Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star on their phone. I'm advocating for that.
I love this. I love this.
That's exactly right. Yes. So please do that. And then if you want to chat with us, hang out with us, send us your bad date stories, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.